So how about Over the Garden Wall? It is celebrating 10 years. We watched the whole series, start to finish, which is, a long and arduous hour. I'd like to hear thoughts. Go ahead, lay it out.
I think the first thing is just I didn't know what to expect from the show at all, I mean, I love Elijah Wood just based off Wilfred and shit like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it just feels like the first cartoon I'd show my son. It's on that list now where it's just fucking easy to watch. It's funny. I love the younger brother. I love that. I hate him, but I love him so much more than I hate him. You know what I'm saying? I think the bird's cool. I think the whole world's cool. I think the woodman's funny. I think all the characters in the show are silly and nutty, and I like the fact that each episode it's kind of its own little separate piece, but there's still that little bit of interconnection between it. I think all in all, I wish there was more cartoons that would just do 12 episodes, 10 minutes a piece. I miss the art of the 10-minute cartoon where it's just fucking silliness. I
also love how you're Elijah Wood, loved him from Wilfred. I feel like everybody else is Lord of the Rings. You're the first person to be oh yeah, from Wilfred, right? But dude, I think it was that's just what makes it so good is it's just this nice short little thing, this little fall trip, it was just, and the characters are just so every character they introduce is so wonderfully different. That's what I love about it. It's they're all fucking and all weird and funny in their own fucking ways, but they all feel so distinct. It's crazy the amount of iconic characters they've thrown in 10 episodes, dude. I was in love with it. The Beast, dude, such a cool villain.
Yeah,
man. That was so fucking. He was just just the way he would manipulate people. I thought it was really cool how he worked and his form, just the shadow of it. I think it's cool too. They never really, well, they do show it for a second. There's a scene where he shines the light on him and you can see it, and they've paused it. And it's a really detailed, it's a bunch of faces on a skull and shit. It's a really gnarly design. But yeah, dude, it just felt that perfect blend of spooky and the essence of Cartoon Network. I feel at the end of the day.
Well, I think just the villains in contrast to the characters. That's what I liked is that the story actually felt so scary.
Yeah.
Not that the story felt scary, but the fucking villains felt so scary. And I don't know if that was just because the characters look so round and pudgy and shiny, but fucking every single villain that they would introduce, I was this is fucking
Yeah. I do remember you saying that too, and that is such a funny thing of how they're both they're just soft and round, and then these characters are fucking.
Maybe if the whole show looked like that, then maybe the fucking animals just wouldn't come off as scary. I was trying to figure out are these things just super scary, or is it just because they're fucking showing me all this shiny bullshit, and then they show me something that's whoa,
Yeah.
That's why I love cartoons. Cool. There's so much room to make the scariest thing.
It's weird because it's considering you would think considering the platform they're on, it would be hard to make something that genuinely feels eerie and spooky, but it just kind of shows you don't need to really get super dark to create that feeling. I think it's just what isn't shown that makes it even better too.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's 10 years old too is kind of crazy. It feels like it came out yesterday. You know? But I guess cartoons in 2014 were pretty by that point.
Yeah.
It's as clear as it was getting,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of in the same era. I feel after the 2012, it's there was that Adventure Time, and then it kind of got shinier right after that. But it's not it really improved the style too much. I feel it just got clearer, and it's kind of the same style. You know what I'm saying?
I'm curious to see if Over the Garden Wall had the same animators as Flapjack, because it kind of gives me Flapjack vibes.
Okay, yeah, I could kind of see that.
The color palette, I think, especially.
Okay, yeah. Flapjack felt more ancient, scrolly, fucking.
Yeah, but it was a lot of dull browns and kind of green. Well, actually, I guess it's unfair to say because Over the Garden Wall did have some color to it.
It was just
color and it was pretty vibrant. So that is a little.
Flapjack is more. I mean, this probably isn't even the word to say it, but it's not sepia or that kind of filter. It's it's kind of got a yellow tint to it.
Yeah, it is very kind of dark green shark. Yeah. But it also, I mean, it is kind of it still has that because Flapjack also has that uncanny feeling to it. But it's a little. I mean, it's obviously not as intense as Over the Garden Wall, but it's still just you watch that show and you're what the fuck, They put out a stop motion thing, and the creator was he wanted to make the whole series stop motion.
Really?
Yeah. So he was it should have, but obviously that's way more expensive. So he's fuck it, we'll just animate it.
What would you rate the whole show out of 10?
I give it a 9. I think it was. I think it was great just for what it's just a show that knows what it's doing. It's not long, like I said. It was just like the perfect little like seasonal breather. You know, like I think it's just so cool. You can just put it on whenever and just always have a fun time. Objectively, you just look at the show and you're just like, I can't really think of like one thing they really did wrong or like I didn't like. You know, it was just like just hit pretty much all the notes. I was like, yeah, you guys did it. You know? It knew what it wanted to be, and that was it.
Yeah, I think every episode I let out at least one hard laugh.
Yeah,
where I would be like, fuck it, you know. It almost made me feel like I was glazing it because I forget that you already seen it. So like I'm laughing so hard for like the first time.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I remember, I legit, the last time I watched it was like 4 years ago, so it did feel like a new watch.
Yeah. Oh man, Greg would kill me, dude.
So
funny. So fucking funny, dude. I love like that it actually has like good I don't know, I'm not trying to say the word morals, but good teachings where it's just like you just stay delusionally as positive as that kid, good things are bound to happen.
Yeah, that does feel like the one of the messages in a sense, you know.
What other messages do you think there are in the show, which is just like stop being insecure in yourself?
Yeah, like I guess it's kind of interesting because I was thinking about that because of like the beast and like the woodsman, and like that whole dynamic and like what they were trying to represent with that, you know.
I just thought of the beast as kind of just like just to tie the show together, you know. I didn't really think of him like the woodsman as like having like any sort of story to tell you, as opposed to like when they do like a deeper dive on Elijah Wood's character and how he was treating his brother beforehand, and then how he viewed himself and all that other stuff. Like I thought that was like teaching kids just like, you think so poorly of yourself, and then like the show is showing you the other aspect of it, where it's just like, it's not true. It's like you're the only person putting yourself down, you know, like all that other shit. I thought that's what it was like teaching kids, you know.
Yeah, I think it was also just like being the weird one out, and that's like not a thing. You're going to this world, and it's like, you know, because how they got there, and like you're going to this world where everything is just so much fucking stranger and more bizarre than anything, and kind of realizing how cool that is.
Yeah.
And just like in every little shot, like even like one of my favorite shots, like the fish just fishing. Dude, phenomenal. Oh, and that was like the best ending of the episode. I was like, dude, what a shot.
It's so funny.
I wonder if they're ever going to make a sequel.
What would it be? Just like them older?
Yeah, like I feel like it wouldn't make sense. Like I can't, that's the only thing I could think of is maybe they're like older or something. But I just feel like, God, you know, it just, anytime I see a series that I love that's like truly over, I'm like, there's no way they're going to do something, you know, like even I don't fucking want them to, but I'm like, I feel like they'll come up with like some side, but maybe they will, you know, like I say that, but then Adventure Time is fucking killing it. Yeah. Dude, all the new Adventure Time shit. Even Fiona and Cake, like that whole series, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. The HBO specials were great, and then I think they're making a season 2 of Fiona and Cake now.
Really awesome.
Yeah, because it did really well on HBO. So like it could be good, and like I thought Adventure Time was like done. So you know maybe there is life for it. Like I think there's a lot of possibilities for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like there's literally nothing they could do.
Yeah. I mean, they could have spent like 4 seasons in that forest.
They honestly could have. Like, Over the Garden Wall, if it was literally just, and I mean, that's kind of the vibe it had, was like, if it was just, you know, a different adventure every episode.
Yeah.
Which essentially it was. Like, it almost feels like the format of the show was made for it to be longer. Because it was just kind of random adventures with a loose coherence to it, but like pretty...
I mean, those are my favorite kind of shows, the same thing as regular show. You know, I like the loose coherence, you know. Where it's like not like the primary objective of each episode, but there is an objective of the show on top of like the primary objective of each episode. You know?
Right, like there's always like a driving goal, you know, like fucking killing Aku or... You know, there's always that thing in the background, but it feels good when it like actually ties together, you know, and like finishes. You know, like it just did such a lovely ending too. It's like, oh, that was good. You know, like you just finish, you're like, oh fuck, you know. I don't know what they'll do, but I feel like that's gonna be like the last great Cartoon Network show we get. I think that's another reason why people love it. Is it's kind of like, I mean, Cartoon Network hasn't really had anything crazy since then.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, you know why it is. Because it's
just because it's like the times.
Like cartoons aren't getting away with as much as they did before. And I think a result of that is that like people just aren't really getting creative with it. I don't want to say because of the limitations, but like I guess the obstacles that were there kind of like during the time of like the 90s and the early 2000s, or, you know, whether that was like Ren and Stimpy or like Billy and Mandy, like they just got creative and just made like the coolest shit, you know, and you could just feel the passion for it, like, you know, like when you watched it, you know, like, you know, they're having fun making it.
Yeah.
And there isn't that many cartoons that are really taking that approach anymore. You know, like, I feel like the animation industry is not paying as much anymore, and people are just kind of like, it feels like a lot more corporate now, I think, you know.
I think I liked Over the Garden Wall too. It was kind of like also felt like another version of Gravity Falls, kind of.
Yeah, I still never finished Gravity Falls.
I love Gravity Falls.
I finished the first season, and then I stopped watching it. I'm gonna finish it one of these days.
So much fun, dude.
Yeah, start it up again.
Another GOAT category of bedtime TV. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed what I watched the first season.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 too. You know.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Probably never gonna see some shit like that again.
You never know.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot it down. You're right.
Yeah.
It could be. You're right.